Hi guys, welcome to my new video. Now this one is really important. I know there are many people out there who have sat the IELTS exam 2 times, 3 times and multiple times and they're just stuck on a 6 or a 6.5. And if you're one of those people, yeah, and you don't know what's going wrong, you better watch this video till then. Because I'm going to tell you the mistakes that are the very reason of you being stuck on a 6 or a 6.5 and you're just not reaching that band 7 that you so need. Okay, so stay tuned because I'm going to tell you the reasons and the mistakes that you must avoid to get 7. Okay, let's get straight into it. So, the very first mistake. One of the mistakes that could be the reason of you getting a band 6 is being too general. Okay, now what do I mean by that? It means that you are not approaching the topic in the correct manner. You're writing about the topic generally instead of answering the question specifically. Okay, still confused? Don't worry, because I'm going to give you some examples to clarify it, okay? Let's look at an example. Let's say you get this question in the exam. Pollution has become a major problem in the developing countries. What are the causes and what solutions can you suggest? So the first thing from the question, we know it's a cause-solution essay, yeah? Because they're asking us for the causes and they're asking us to suggest some solutions. So we know it's a cause-solution essay. Now, the mistake people make and the reason that you're getting a band 6 or a 6.5 is because if you get this question and you say, wow, I need to write about pollution and I know everything about pollution. I know about air pollution, water pollution, and whatnot. Yeah? Well, guys, that's the mistake. Okay? That's the mistake that's costing you your band. Okay? And that's stopping you from getting the band 7. Now, look at the question carefully. It says, pollution has become a major problem in the developing countries. The examiner is not interested in what you know about pollution, okay? He's not testing your knowledge on the topic of pollution. He wants to know the causes of pollution in the developing countries. So, even though the topic is pollution, the focus or the thing that you need to talk about, or the thing that you really need to focus is pollution in the developing countries. So the Western countries or the developed countries, okay, they are excluded. You don't need to talk about them, okay? You don't need to talk about everything in general. And that is a mistake, okay? And that's the reason you are stuck on a 6 or a 6.5. To be honest, if you write about your question generally, you can't get above a band 6, okay? And that's what I've seen in the band descriptors, okay? I'm not making it up. Let's look at another example to clarify it a bit more. You are still confused. So, if you get a question like this, childhood obesity is increasing at an alarming rate. What problems can it lead to? And what measures could be taken to tackle it? At this time, it's a problem solution essay. So it's asking what problems can be caused and what solutions can we suggest or what measures could be taken, okay? Now, again, if you wrote about this thing generally, okay, you saw, oh, wow, obesity, okay? I can write everything about obesity that I know. Sorry, guys, that's wrong, okay? And that's the mistake, that you're not getting above a band 6, okay? Or you're not getting the 7 that you really need. Because you're not focusing on the question, on the specific question being asked. The question is not about obesity. The question is about childhood obesity. Okay, childhood. Okay, they are interested in under 18s children. Okay, and you have to talk about obesity in the children. And if you don't do that and you talk about generally about obesity, that's wrong. Okay, and that's one of the very reasons that you're stuck on the band that you are, and you are not getting the 7. Okay, so please don't write generally. Target the question specifically. Look at the keywords, okay? So in this example, the keyword was childhood, okay, or children, okay? Remember that, please. Let's look at mistake number 2. Now, the second mistake you should avoid is not writing a conclusion, okay? Now, guys, this one is divided into 2 parts, okay? Either you don't write a conclusion at all, or the second bit is that you do write a conclusion, but it's unclear. It's not very clear. let me tell you guys, it's one of the most common reasons people get a low band, okay? Now you might say to me, well, in an exam, why won't I write a conclusion? It is very possible, guys, okay? Because let's say maybe you ran out of time in the exam and you couldn't complete your task too. So obviously there would be any conclusion, okay? Now let's look at both of these situations, okay? Let's say if you don't write a conclusion, what will happen? So if you don't write a conclusion at all, okay, so there is no conclusion in your essay, you can't get above a band 5, okay, and that's really bad, okay? So what about the other situation? Let's say you do write a conclusion, but it's not very clear, okay? Remember the main purpose, okay? Your main ideas should be clearly summed up, okay? Whatever 2 or 3 main ideas you have, okay, there should be a summary, okay? The conclusion is like a small summary of your main ideas, okay? But if you do write a conclusion and it's not clear, then you can't get above a band 6, okay? So now you see, guys, right, why you're stuck on that band, let's say 5 or 6 or 6.5, right? So it's very important to write a conclusion, and it should be very clear. It should clearly sum up the main ideas that you have discussed in the essay, okay? So let's go to the next one, guys. Mistake number 3, irrelevant ideas. Okay, guys, remember this. Your ideas should clearly and directly answer the question that is being asked, okay? In other words, your ideas should be relevant to the question, okay? Now, this is very crucial, and you might ask me why. Because according to the mark scheme that is being used by the examiners, IELTS examiners, you can't get above a band 5, okay, if your ideas are irrelevant. Remember that. I'm going to give you an example to make you understand what I mean, okay? Let's say you get a question in the exam. Parks and green spaces are vital to community. To what extent do you agree? Now, it's an agree-disagree question because they're asking if we agree with it or not. Okay, let's say I say yes. They're very important. So the parks and the other green spaces are very important for community, okay? So what ideas can you think of? And remember to think of relevant ideas, okay? That ideas are relevant if they answer the question directly, okay? And clearly, okay? So if you thought that parks are important because they look very beautiful, that's wrong. That's not a relevant idea. It's not telling us why it's vital. Okay, yeah, parks and green spaces are very beautiful. Yeah, it's nature, so it's beautiful. But how is that vital to the community? You see, you need to think of relevant ideas. So if you thought something like this, that they're vital or they're important because they reduce pollution and it leads to a cleaner environment, you're right. Or maybe another idea you can think of is maybe you thought that they could foster better relationships. Are you thinking why? Well, that's because parks and other green spaces are the places where people meet and they can develop friendships, right? So it can help in developing of better relationships, right? So that's why from this perspective, from a social perspective, they're important. From a health perspective, the green spaces and parks are very important. So you see, the ideas that I'm thinking of are clear and they're directly answering the question. And you should do the same. You should think of a clear idea and the one that directly answers the question that is being asked to you. Okay? Let's move to the next one, guys. So mistake number 4. Undeveloped ideas. And guys, this is a very important one, okay? This mistake is very crucial. You know what mistake most students make? Because what they do is that they list a lot of ideas, okay? And they don't develop the ideas. Develop the ideas mean that they don't explain them fully, okay? You know why? I think the reason most students do that is because they think IELTS is a test of knowledge, okay? They think, wow, okay, we're gonna list like 2-3 ideas. Let's say the question was about pollution, and maybe the question was asking you what solutions you can offer. So you probably thought, okay, wow, I'm gonna list 3-4 ideas, and the examiner is gonna think, yeah, he or she knows everything about pollution. I'm gonna give him or her a good band. But no, guys. Okay, let's say you thought of 3 ideas. You said, okay, we should improve the public transport, we should increase the petrol price, and things like that, and other ideas. So you list all 3 of them, and and you think, wow, I've done really well. But no, guys, if you make this mistake, you can't get above a band 6. Okay, remember that. If you don't develop your ideas, you're not getting above a band 6. Okay, now I'm going to tell you exactly how you can develop or support your ideas, because remember, there are 2 things you need to do with your main ideas. You need to develop them and you need to support them. Okay. Now, in order to explain you this thing, just think simply about a lawyer in the court, right? He's trying to convince the judge, right, about somebody's innocence, let's say, okay? And what does he do? He provides evidence. And you should do something similar, okay? Just imagine that the examiner is a judge, okay? And you have to provide evidence, okay? You need to provide explanation for your main ideas, and you have to prove it with examples, okay? You need to convince the examiner that what you are saying, that your ideas are correct. What you are saying, you have to convince the examiner that yes, this is what is correct, okay? And how can you do that? You can do that. You can convince the examiner by providing explanation for your main ideas and proving them with various examples, okay? Don't worry if you're not getting it, because I'm going to give you a few examples as well. Let's look at an example. Let's say you get this question in the exam. Overcrowding is a problem in major cities of many countries. Why is this? And what measures could be taken? Okay, so let's say if I was answering the first part, okay, so I'm answering the reasons, okay, why is this? Why overcrowding is a major problem in many big cities, okay? And let's say my idea was, I think the main reason why there is overcrowding of the major cities in many countries is because there is an inequality between the rural areas and the major cities, okay? Now, this is my main idea, but this is not enough, guys, okay? If I just write this idea and then I write the next one and then another one, sorry guys. As I already said, IELTS is not a test of knowledge, okay? It's a test of your linguistic ability, okay? The examiner wants to see that if you can present your ideas, 1 or 2 ideas only, and then explain them fully, okay? That's what they are looking for, okay? So if I say to the examiner, if I write in my essay that I think the main reason is because there is an inequality between the rural areas and the major cities. So how should I explain this? I should explain it because I'm talking about the inequality, but the examiner doesn't know what kind of inequality I'm referring to. Okay, so I need to explain my idea. So I can say something like that there is a major gap in terms of the employment opportunities. Okay, so did you see what I'm doing? I'm explaining what kind of inequality I'm referring to. I'm referring to, or I'm describing the inequality in terms of employment opportunities. Okay, there is a major gap in terms of the employment opportunities. That's the inequality between the rural areas and the major cities. But this is still not enough, right, guys? Because, okay, the examiner understood that I'm talking about that there is a gap in the employment opportunities between these 2 areas, between the rural areas and the major cities, okay? But it's still not very clear, because let's say which area has higher employment, better employment, say, and which one has lower employment. The examiner doesn't know. Remember, guys, examiner is not a mind reader, okay? He can only read what you have written on the paper, okay? So you need to explain each and every single thing that you say, and that's the way you can get a good mark, okay? And that's how I scored a 7.5 in the writing. I went from a 6.5 to 7.5, and that's the way I did it, okay? So now you need to explain it, okay? So you need to say, that is to say that the people in villages don't have the same job opportunities that the city dwellers are blessed with. So you see, first I told what the inequality was. So there was a gap, there was an unequal number of job opportunities. Okay, and now I'm telling which area has higher or better employment opportunities. Okay, so I said this is to say that people in the villages don't have the same job opportunities that the city dwellers are blessed with. Okay, so you see how I explained? Okay, now next what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect my main idea to the question that was being asked. Okay, so this was my idea that there is an inequality. Okay, but how is this inequality in terms of employment opportunities is leading to the overcrowding of the cities? Because remember, that is my question. My question is, overcrowding is a major problem in major cities of many countries. So I need to link my idea back to the question that is being asked. So how is this linked back to the overcrowding? How is all this leading to overcrowding? Okay, so now next we're going to do that. So here it is. I say this leads to overcrowding of the cities. So how does it lead it? Because people migrate from the far-flung villages to the urban cities or centers in search of better jobs. Do you see what I did? I explained my main idea, okay, not just listed it, and then I related my main idea to the question that was being asked. And the question was about overcrowding. So I told the examiner that there is an inequality in terms of job opportunities. Okay, then I explained to the examiner that which area has better employment opportunities. Okay, I told that villages don't have that. Okay, and then I told that all these people from the villages and far-flung areas go to the cities in search of better jobs, and that is why this is leading to the overcrowding of the cities. So you see how everything is linked? Because remember, guys, there should be a flow. Okay, it should be logical. One sentence should be linked to the next one. Okay, it should be logically linked to each other. Okay, so that's how I explained my main idea. Okay, and then I related my main idea to the question that was being asked. Okay, so guys, this was all for today. I hope you find this video useful. And if you found this video useful, please like this video and share it with your friends. If you know anybody who's doing the IELTS exam, who's sitting the IELTS exam, and especially with the people who are writing the IELTS exam again and again and again, and they're just stuck on a 6 or 6.5, please share this video so that they know the mistakes that they should avoid, so that they can get the 7 or the band that they need. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more free videos. If you're preparing for your IELTS, it would really help you. They're all free videos on my YouTube channel. I relate to the IELTS material, of course. And thank you for watching, okay? Don't give up and good luck for your exam. I'm sure you can do it too. Take care. Bye-bye.